Yeah, I think so. I think it does. It would have been great to see the guys playing some domestic cricket in the back half of the season, but we've got to respect CA's decision on that and for the original ban to stand. So, yeah, like I said, it would have been great for Davey and Steve also. Obviously, with Cam coming back shortly, but yeah, respect the decision and just got to move on now.
Aaron, lots been said about Australia's recent performances on the field.
Yep.
Do you think, and of course India's strengths as well, so do you think this format is the best opportunity to dispel all that and say, okay, make a strong statement that you are still a force to be reckoned with, especially, is this the best format to start off things against India?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that although we lost in the UAE against Pakistan, who are a very good T20 side, I think we played some really good cricket in Zimbabwe. We played some great cricket in the Tri-Series against a really good England and New Zealand side last year. We're still very confident in this format. India have been in great form in all forms of the game for a long time now. So I think it's going to be a great opportunity for us to come out and express ourselves, play some aggressive attacking cricket and take the game on and really try and take it to India.
Aaron, just the T20. With the pitch out there and fast bouncy pitch and Billy Stanlake and Coulter, can you just open up with maybe a few tomorrow night?
Yeah, I didn't have a real close look at the wicket, but traditionally it's a nice pace in the wicket. It's decent bounce. So I think most of the Indian guys have been here before and know what to expect. So I don't think it's, with so much cricket being played these days, it's not as foreign as probably what it was going back some time. So there's obviously an opportunity to use that as our go-to, no doubt. And like I said, it's going to be an exciting series. India are in great form, and we feel as though we've been building really nicely without getting them results go our way so far. So it'll be good fun.
Aaron, is this a chance to put the advantage of the Test series? Can you get momentum heading into the Test series in these three games?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that when T20s are a fast-paced, short game, obviously. So at times it can take one bit of brilliance with the bat or with the ball. Sometimes even a play in the field can change the momentum and change the dynamic of a whole game or a whole series. So I think that's a great advantage for us to be able to start off in this format against India. They've been so dominant in this format that I think people have forgotten that we're actually playing it sometimes.
Aaron, Nathan mentioned yesterday that maybe we could...
Yeah, they'll definitely be into the calculations. Once I leave here, I'll go and have a chat with JL and talk about the makeup of the side. But I'd imagine with the size of the ground and probably how good our spinners have bowled in the past, I think that while they haven't been huge wicket takers, I think the way Zamps bowled during the one-day series against a very good South African side was excellent. I think Ashton Agar, although he hasn't had a real lot of game time over the last couple of months, he hasn't stopped training the house down, and so a couple of really good options we can go to there, which is a good position to be in.
Has one of those guys got the edge over the other at the moment?
Not in my mind. I think just the package of Ashton Agar with his bowling and batting and fielding is probably, if you decide to go with an extra bowler, he starts to fit that mould. He can bat 7, gun in the field. So in terms of the makeup of the side, he probably has that advantage of being able to have the balance of the side in his favour. Whereas Zamps is just a genuine out-and-out leggy. But we saw him make some good contribution with the bat in the one-day series, particularly in Adelaide.
What about your form, Aaron? A little run outs lately.
Yeah.
After a big year already, how are you feeling ahead of tomorrow night? A good opportunity to turn around?
Feeling very good, actually. I've, for the last couple of days, hit a lot of balls and started to feel like there's some rhythm coming back into my game. It's obviously when you've been playing non-stop, it can be difficult to try and get an amount of training time in to keep working on your game and probably adjust some things that might need a little bit of tinkering. So I think having these last few days to be able to get a couple of really long hits in and start to feel like my technique and everything was coming back to normal. But I don't feel like I was batting badly in the one-day series. I think I played a poor shot in the last game, chopped on in Adelaide, and should have reviewed one in Perth. So I think when that kind of stuff happens when you're going through a little tough patch, but it won't last long.
Playing T20 matches in India, the boundary lines are pretty short.
Yeah.
Do you advocate that huge? Does this make any difference?
I think that it changes your tactics slightly. I think when you play on small grounds like in India, in England, the ability to be able to just walk in and hit some sixes and fours and catch up a strike rate or a run rate can happen a lot easier. I think that you probably have to change your mindset to thinking sixes and fours to twos. There's plenty of gaps out there, so I think that'll go a huge way to deciding this series. Who executes that better? The fielders on the boundary have to be aware, obviously, where to position themselves. Sometimes on the big boundary out there, you might be 30 or 40 metres off the boundary rope to try and save two. So I think it becomes a little cat and mouse game there. But I think it's just about playing to our strengths, I think.
Just going back to ever get into T20 cricket, just from your personal point of view, how difficult has that been?
It's been probably difficult. Being home for 2 weeks in 8 months is tough. So I think at times that starts to wear you down a bit mentally more than anything. So it was great to have 2 days at home last week after the Perth. Before this. I don't know when it was, but that was really good to just get home for a couple of days and refresh and recharge the batteries and be able to come up here with a clear mind again. I think, like you said, being on tour for so long, it can just get a little bit, days just roll into one, and you wake up, you go to training, you do your recovery. So it was great to get home and ready to go again.
Aaron, as captain, treat him just like everyone else.
No, I think it's you can't underestimate anyone in the Indian side. I think obviously Virat's probably the best player in the world at the moment, and has been for some time in the two shorter formats in particular. So I think they've got dangerous guys all through their innings. You got guys who have made double hundreds in one day cricket. I've played so much T20 cricket and are so experienced that if you take them for granted, they will hurt you badly. So there's obviously been a little bit of focus around Virat, but none more than Rohit or Shikhar or KL or any of these guys that can be as damaging as anyone on their day.
Hi. Your thoughts on India's bowling attack up against your batting side? Because in the games against UAE, there were chances that when Maxwell was going along with you, there were chances that you could win the game. So,
yep.
But then the wickets fall off quickly. Your thoughts on India's bowling attack and what changes have you done? Anything which we can see different?
India's obviously got a very good bowling attack now. I think with the amount of pace options that they've got mixed in with their finger spin and their leg spin bowlers, I think it's a really well balanced attack. We saw in England how effective they can be in the Test series when they got it right with the ball, and it's going to be no different here. I think that when you look at India in the past, you might have seen that as a bit of a weak link, but now I think that they have every base covered through their list. So that's going to go a long way to deciding the games as well. Who plays better in the power play? Whether they go with the finger spin of Sundar or with the quicks who can move the ball up front, it's going to be a good contest. And in terms of our batting, I think that it's just about trying to minimise that damage when it does happen. I think that when we have, or when a new batter's come in, it seems to take a little bit of time to get a partnership going, or it's back-to-back wickets. So, and in T20 cricket, that's where you lose a lot of your momentum. They talk about it being a 10-run swing per wicket. So if you keep losing back-to-back wickets, they can store your momentum. So I think it's about making sure that we're as sharp as we can be when we first come to the wicket, and make sure we're communicating well with our partner and getting into partnerships. And by doing that, that's when you put pressure back on the opposition.
With all the commentary in the last...
It certainly hasn't been a topic of discussion in the change rooms. I know you might chat about it sitting around having a coffee and what you think about it, but No, like I said before, it would be great for them all to be back playing domestic cricket at the least, but that's not going to happen. So we have to respect that. And I think like when the bans were handed down, they accepted it, and I think we've just got to move on now. It's all done.
In Australia's reputation at all costs, would you say our culture's changed in any way, or they're getting the win?
No, it's still as intense and desperate to win, no doubt. I think that it's about going about that the right way, and playing hard is a part of the Australian way of doing it. For different people, that means different things. It might be the intensity that you go about it. It might be your body language. So it's not all about verbal and things like that, which people tend to get confused with sometimes. I think they talk about being tough and aggressive, and that means verbal, but I don't see it as it is. I think it's about your body language and your presence on the ground, and I think that's what Australia's always prided themselves on in all sport, not just cricket. So it's still 100% there. I mean, it has been a difficult time of late, no doubt, with the wins not stacking up as we would have liked, but that can change quickly. And like I said before, sometimes it can be one innings with the bat, one spell with the ball, or a bit of brilliance in the field that can turn a match, that can then turn a series. So we're certainly not far away at all. It's really close. We've been working as hard as we can off the field. I mean, all our coaches are doing a fantastic job. They're working as hard as they can with us, for us, to get them wins, and it's been frustrating, no doubt, that they haven't happened. But at the end of the day, it's international sport, and teams don't just present opportunities all the time. You have to keep banging the door down until you get through, and you might only get one chance some days. And if you're good enough to take it, I think that's the kind of stuff that starts to build cultures within teams and builds around that winning dynamic and that real self-belief that when you are in a position, might be 1% of a chance that you can get through that door, but you find a way through and you take it. So I think that when we start to get them looks in a little bit more often, we'll get in positions where we take them consistently.
Last one.